need to make this video. I was watching the Dallas Cowboys documentary that recently just came out. It's called America's Team, The Gambler, and America's Dream, or something like that. And it talks about Jerry Jones, the billionaire, and it shows George Bush talking on there, where he says, "This is America." He fell in love with. He fell in love with America's Team as the Gambler and its Cowboys, and it's during the era of Jerry Jones and Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Emmitt Smith. Now, I think it's important for me to talk about this because I don't think this is for sure, I'm almost positive I've never said anything about this on camera because there's no related events to it. It's this right here documentary.
Most people don't understand how difficult it is to get to this person.
Okay? Watching this documentary, everything is about gutting my mother, fucking my mother in the ass, playing her fucking stupid, she's a stupid bitch, wetback. We're going to just show George Bush what this is about. George Bush, I've never heard say this, but he said that he fell in love with the Dallas Cowboys. This piece of shit motherfucker gets everything he wants. God himself couldn't come down a fucking cross and lay a finger on this motherfucker. Because he dealt with the World Trade Center and he dealt with war at a magnitude that nobody else can handle, and his dad was president. Anything he says is what he gets. There's nothing that no one says no to him. Anything in the world he gets, and other countries as well. And this is very dangerous because Ken Cooper is a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys, and it's a white supremacy thing. It's a white thing. It's a white American thing. It's white supremacy thing. Now, you have two niggas, you know, Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin. Now, this video is going to talk about Michael Irvin. When I was, right before I threw this party, I used to go work out with Adrian and Albert. Not too much with Albert, but Adrian and Albert. Albert ended up being a professional chef, and I think moving to Houston. And I know he was going through a lot of problems in his life, but he was the bouncer and security guard. I had him because he's a pretty real heavy set guy, and I paid him, and I trusted him to deal with all the money, and it was like $2,000 in cash. So it was all honest money. And I mean, this guy, he could have probably took a 20 or probably stole money if he wanted to, but I treated him like he was an employee. Here, I'll pay you $100, sit at the door, all you gotta do is count money and make sure you just keep the money. If you need anything, you need a drink, man, I take care of you. And so I would kind of just roam, play the DJ set and roam, greet people, see everybody's having a good time, you know, everything's going in peace. And I threw this party with Andy Caldwell, okay? So Adrian, me and Adrian, I haven't heard from him, I don't know what happened to him, but he knew Robert I went to high school with him, and he knew Robert Zarate very well as well. His dad used to work for a Mercedes company. Anyway, he told me about this story that happened to him. I don't know if this has any associations with whatever happened, but they hung, real life, his house caught on fire. His entire house caught on fire. Nobody knows what happened. And everything got destroyed. All his pictures, all his memories, everything was destroyed with his family. And then him and his dad and his mom and his like two brothers and sister, they all had to get up and move to a different place. So they got a house over in like Carrollton, another place in Carrollton, and his dad worked at the Mercedes dealership. But he knew Robert Zarate very well. In fact, he got into a fight, not with Robert Zarate, but against some kids were at Creekview High School and at a gas station, and they were out in the middle of the streets all swinging. It was like 3 or 4 of them versus Robert Zarate and Adrian many years ago. He told me about this. I didn't know what had happened. It was wild. It was crazy. This is during the boxing eras where we're boxing and just kind of messing around. So this is about Michael Irvin. I went to go work out. It was right before I threw the party. It was like a few months. It was like 2 months before I threw the party. I remember it was, I want to say it was like November maybe. And we went to go work out at a fitness center, which used to be MJ Designs, where Frankie used to work. But now it's, what is it called? I think it's called 24-Hour Fitness. No, it is not 24-Hour Fitness. Lifetime Fitness. That's what it was. I'm pretty sure it was called Lifetime Fitness. And we went there, and I don't have a membership. Me and him, he's like, hey, well, let's go work out. So we go work out at the gym. I'm about 23 years old. I walk in there, normal day. It was probably it was at night. So it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock, maybe even 8:30. Because I remember walking in, and it was night. It was close to almost sunset. It was already getting dark. We go in there, and we go in there, and we're walking into the gym, and we're talking, whatever. I'm already dressed. He goes, I gotta go to the locker room and get dressed, man. Okay, so I go with him, follow him. We go in the dressing room. We're talking about this party or whatever, and he's kind of getting dressed up, and there's some other guys. As I'm walking in there, I look to my right, and in the shower area, Michael Irvin. Now, Adrian told me about this. The Lifetime Fitness right over here on Marsh Lane. And Adrian used to tell me, he goes, yeah, man, he goes, I see Michael Irvin there a couple times over working out at the Lifetime Fitness, like at the regular gym, just like everybody else. And I was like, oh, wow. I just wouldn't think that if he was going to a workout fitness center, it wouldn't be here in Carrollton or Farmers Branch or something. It would have been, probably up where this Texas Stadium, and particularly not at that moment in location. But I walk in there and I see Michael Irvin, and it's crazy because I see Taylor Swift doing the same position that what I saw him doing. And he had told me this like a month or two prior. He goes, yeah, man, he goes, the Dallas Cowboys, because he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and his family is, I think, but I know he is. And I remember him telling me this, and he didn't tell me that day that Michael Irvin was going to be there, but he was. Michael Irvin, I don't know if he was just stretching after a practice, but he was by himself, kind of like in a shower, I want to say. I don't know if he took a shot, like a quick just rinse in his swimsuit, but he didn't have any shoes on, and he was stretching his feet. He was doing this. He had his hands against the wall like this, and he was going like this, like he was stretching his feet, and he was kind of leaning up against the wall, and he was just going like this, and he looks monstrous, and he looks like a gorilla strength, like gorilla built. And he has these big giant feet and shit, like he's an NFL player. And he's there in the showers, and he's just stretching his feet. And I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, wait, that's like Michael Irvin. And I'm thinking, what is he doing, And I'm just kind of looking, and then he looks over at me and directly at me, like acknowledging me. And I don't know what reason. I have no reason to believe, and I want to say he looked directly at me, and I don't know what he was looking at that could have made him, because he turned very fast like this and was just looking at me, like acknowledging me. I just looked, and I was like, it kind of looked like he was going to do like a wide receiver right at me and just come running straight at me. I don't remember if he walked toward me. I don't think he did. He just kind of looked directly at me, like, I don't know, because when he was stretching himself, he was just kind of looking down the whole time, so he didn't see me, like, prior to make knowledge. So when he looked over, he just directly looked over at me, and if I had anything, he's a straight guy 100%. That guy didn't have an ounce of homophobic, an ounce of any gay shit going on. I know that John Massili treated him, or was a waiter for him many years ago at IHOP, and he tipped really well. But I don't know if this has any associations with, hey, Hector and this guy's going to go over here and work out. Why don't you go and size him up? because the Dallas Cowboys is owned by George Bush and Jerry Jones. Those guys are buddies. And this is why I talk about that there's no hope, okay? It is very different. It's not even it's not even a question of battle. It's not a question of argument. That motherfucker George Bush gets what the fuck he wants. And he just kills whoever he wants. This guy's killed a lot of people on death row. Dealt with the World Trade Center at the magnitude that his dad was the president. There's nothing that family and Bush people don't ever get. They get anything, and God could not come on a cross and lay a finger on this motherfucker, even if he wanted to. And these are some of the worst. He's the equivalent of like Hitler. Hitler. That motherfucker is Hitler reincarnated. I mean, he's Hitler. They're just, for somebody to be born repeatedly in that, and you're just not. And so when he says that he fell in love with the Dallas Cowboys, what the fuck do you think that relates to, and how that attaches to what goes on with King Cooper and George Bush? The white supremacy, the white blonde-haired cowboy, talking, speaking motherfucker. Helping a wetback Mexican that you made an accidental phone call because we met Michael Jackson and the World Trade Center collapses? Or because you're just a good person and you're just taking care of the country and these people? No, you're not. But there's no arguments. There's no arguments with those types of people. Barack Obama, there's no arguments. There's nothing. They only want to be praised as gods. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this because I'm not trying to say that it has any relation, but it could, and you might want to look into it. But I remember him looking right at me like he knew me. It could have been just because I was staring, and I wasn't staring at his crotch or anything. There's nothing faggot. I was just walking with Adrian, and I was just looking at him, and I just kept on staring and staring. I was like, damn, because I could only see the side. You could see everything. I mean, he was his whole body and everything. But I said, hey, that's Michael Irvin. That's Michael Irvin. And it's, you can see how he was considered the best, receiver of all time, which I probably would agree with that. If you look to see how he's built, I mean, this guy looks built like a gorilla. I mean, like he was born with the gorilla bloodline of pure fucking superior strength. His feet look like Bigfoot's, broad as fuck. Like he could just take a footstep and it'd take a whole foot of fucking grass out of its own soil in just one footstep. I mean, his feet looked like they were their own muscular, it was crazy looking. But I thought I would say something about this. I would say something about this because I did see him there, and I kept on walking, and then I turned around the corner, continued talking to him, and I was like, hey, it's Michael Irvin. He goes, yes, it's Michael Irvin, yes. And he's walking. He was walking, and I don't see him walk behind me or anything. And he walks over to the locker rooms, and he's sort of changing. I didn't see him naked or anything like that. He looked like he was getting some clothes or some shit. But I thought it was worth me talking about because, everybody is going to want to take a piece of this pie, and they steal and take anything that they want. When they hear about Michael Jackson and they hear about the World Trade Center and George Bush, what leverage do you think that's going to be playing out for the Dallas Cowboys? What leverage, and how do you think that works against me? White supremacy. Oh, it's not racism. Oh, it's just the president just doesn't understand. No, it's just the president has to deal with this, and it just goes on. But I thought it was worth me talking about that. I did see him. There's a possibility. I'm not trying to point the finger at him, but I would rather important to look at, because I don't know anything about this fame and shit. But I just know that there's enough people know about Michael Jackson for it to reach astronauts, and if it reached the astronauts, it was going to reach to everyone else. And you better believe that if Ken Cooper was his white supremacist and doing all this other shit, they would have known about me. And they would have known that's the kid that met Michael Jackson. This is the one that's raped Frankie. We have to go and do this. This is a stupid bitch right over here, Celestina and her kids. It's our victory. You know, we did this for the niggas. We did this for the White House, for the white supremacists. And that's what they did it for. So I thought it was important for me to at least make a discussion about that. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, because you don't ever know what intentions Jerry Jones or their politics that goes into. You don't know. When you mess with that kind of power that Jerry Jones has, not just the money, but the movement and controlling, and how George Bush is saying he fell in love with the Dallas Cowboys, what do you think that controls? What do you think that pleases when George Bush thinks he feels emotions and thinks he's a human being? He thinks he's a human being and just normal. Oh, I fell, but he don't use those fucking words. You burn people alive and make Ken Cooper an American cowboy hero. This is white supremacy. And then you make exchanges and bargains and wherever you want. He's like a god. He makes decisions and kills and exterminates. He's Hitler. You want to take the world? You want to live in comfort in your own self, or do you want to go and self-sympathy for a wetback and for immigrant that looks like Osama bin Laden? Right? Black hair, black eyes, and partially same skin tone. Close enough, because I'm not your cowboy material. And you got to save the country. That mentality is fucking disgusting. Nobody wants to be a part of that. Nobody fucking wants to be that person or wants to be near that motherfucker. You know, this is about Ken Cooper, George Bush, and the Jerry Jones, Cowboys, and then throw some niggas in there. Bullshit. You know, they're running their own heist to see who's stupid enough that accidentally had gotten this put on our table, and then we're going to just say, this is what goes. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, I say this because about 5 years ago, probably about 5 years ago, I was riding my bike. And it was like a 45-minute bike ride. And it was a wild bike ride. One of the wildest bike rides I'd ever been on. And that fashion. And so I was in Arlington, and I went to go to see if I can get a job at the Jerry Jones Stadium. And when I went there, they put us in line, and there was like, I don't know, 20 of us, 15 to 20 of us. And we're all walking in line, and I took a look at the Jerry Jones, biggest TV in the world, and stadium, the new one that they built. I'd never been in there. I'd never been to a professional football game. And when I went there, I walked by, and we're all, I know this attention is all going on me. We walk into this room, and we see all these electronic devices. And then this guy starts giving this speech. And that's Jerry Jones, and that's George Bush. Okay, so I've been watching this documentary, and I'm watching the language, and I'm watching everything that's going on. They are 100% full-blown know about what's going on. And they're running their own Hitler game. See who's stupid, kill off the weak. We'll make sure white supremacy gets her ballerina story. Sacrifice the stupid bitch Miranda. We'll get it for Jerry Jones, white supremacy. Oh, for the niggas. Oh, infect that one with the black right over Michaela. Oh no, it's right over here. Oh no, and it's coming for the faggots. Well, don't worry, we'll work this out. And that's exactly what they're doing. Now, I'm watching Emmitt Smith, and he's like this. He's like, so there's something that they're watching about what my behavior is and everything that's going on, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'll show you how the faggots and our secret organization goes. Because you never know sometimes who these queers are, and they will never tell you that. I guarantee you, Michael Irvin ain't no faggot, that's for sure. He's a real guy. He's a real man. But I thought it was worth me having a conversation about, because, there's people out there. This is all rough for the fact. There's so many people that are, you think that homosexuals think that they're just certain kinds of people. No, they're real masculine. They're bodybuilders. They're pro bodybuilders, like, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. Those homosexuals that don't have kids, they're gay. It's just a different type of gay. And there's no difference there. There's no fucking difference in athletics. In fact, in my opinion, they're capable of doing much more when it comes to like atomic bombs and political notions of power, they're more acceptable to that type of behavior and live comfortably that way than straight guys are. 'Cause straight guys are just looking to get laid and get pussy, and that's pretty much it. It changes us that way. For some reason, it doesn't. That they're incapable of doing much more harm and feel comfortable and feel good about it, and not have it bother particular ones. But they carry the genes to be able to carry that type of function in the world for all superior emperor of suffering and pain, like Hitler. Hitler was a faggot. He was gay. And, anyway, I thought I would make a video on this and talk about this. If it reaches out to anything, but it's as worthless as it is. It's so fucking terrorizing. I don't even want to watch the rest of it. I got these Netflix for a month and canceled it right away, and I got about a month, 3 weeks left to watch movies, and I don't even feel like fucking watching it because it looks like I'm looking at the devil, Satan, fucking George Bush, and what those motherfuckers are involved in. What they did for the United States is this is just making decisions. These motherfuckers, they don't have anything. Like George Bush doesn't have nothing but to say he has the Dallas Cowboys. You don't fall in love with the Dallas Cowboys, you stupid. Oh wait, hold on. He kills who he wants. Remember that? And they kill anybody they want. They just snap of a finger. They'll kill you. They don't care. They don't care about human life the way you think and function, and even a fraction. Like I said, Jesus couldn't come off that cross and touch him, lay a finger on fucking him. You'll kill your family, fuck your sister in the ass, and then make her eat her own shit. Say it, and then feed it to Miranda, my dead sister, and say that was a holy cross of the blessing of Jesus, and you'll like it because he's George Bush. I don't want to be a part of any of that motherfucker. But I just know that, what they did for the U.S. is a different ball game, and it's a different politics, and it's an investment that I don't ever want to touch or be a part of. That sport, there's no Mexicans. That is a black and white sport. All black, owned by whites, and whites run and tell the blacks what to do. Play the blacks, millions of dollars in this shit. Mexicans are not in that. It's extremely scarce, if any. The only thing we ever ended up being a Mexican in football, or the Latin culture, was that guy Aaron Hernandez that did some murders and got caught and then hung himself in jail. And he played for the Patriots. He was about the only Latin person that played in the world of that world. He was the only guy in that world that played football. But I think it's important for me to talk about everything that's going on, because that's not my culture. That's yours. That's white and blacks and for the niggas, and then you have chip away whatever the fuck you want. But they get anything they want. And I think it's important to at least make a conversation, because it's just terrorizing. Do you have any idea what type of decisions Jerry Jones and what they fucking do? The decisions, the pickings, the politics that goes into that, because that's America's team. Dallas Cowboys is America's team. That is a hoax, fraud, promotional bullshit. That is for something else. That is for goddamn something else. And when you put Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper and all this white spread, you're doing this many years ago, and then I don't know if Ken Cooper had dinner with Donald Trump or any of this shit. It's not going to change the circumstances. They kill who they want and throw down the crumbs and squash the fucking crumbs. These people are the most lethal and disgusting human beings. They're not human. Nobody puts them in their fucking place. The things that they say and everything has been put on a silver platter for them, and everything has been put, everything in white order. That's all that's there. That's all that is. And they're doing this for their politics of saving the white race, out of extinction and all kinds of shit that's for the future. They don't give a fuck. Those types of people, anyway. But I thought it was important for me to at least talk about, because you know, these homosexuals, you don't know what the fucking they do in the background. Jerry Jones, to be a homosexual, you don't even fucking know. Oh, he has a daughter. Yeah, you just put your seat right over there and looks like you, but you don't actually fuck women. Oh, no, but you actually do it for the whites. Oh, but it's just actually this one over here. They don't, the money that can be helping in any psychology, in any circumstances, could be coming from somewhere else than helping to come from those motherfuckers. But, this is from Michael Jackson. You know Michael Jackson's on their table? So he can manipulate what advantage points I could take it from? The politics and the stuff that goes in that is extremely dangerous and lethal. This is like public assassination. This is what politicians you hear, certain people get murdered, like the Black Panthers and the FBI went after them and broke them all apart. All kinds of situations like that. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video on this because, you know, watching this shit is just like, they're bringing up, they know I'm 28 years old when I get raped. They know the transgender rapedness, and they're doing this for the niggas. Oh, they're gonna figure out how Frankie's gonna overcome 10 ass fucks, and he's a kid, and he's real powerful, and he did it for the gays, all this other shit. They'll put down Hector and then use Hector, biological father, if he's still alive, that motherfucker, to take over Miranda, and then help white power right over there, Kenneth, who has kidney failure. Oh no, it's Ken Cooper, he lived a good life for the white power race. Oh, he was just a police officer. Oh no, you know what, Sarah Madison, you see that's white power right there. So they'll just keep doing that, and they just kept on doing that. So, you know, as far as I have anything to say with that, that's, I don't, those just disgusting motherfuckers. They know how to scum this shit at the highest levels, regardless of what the psychologists do. And that's what's even more dangerous, because they have my mother's twin who's, it's a cakewalk. They could steal, and they knew what they could. They knew they could from the very beginning. My mother's twins are as stupid as horse shit, and they're always willing to kill me and throw me in a garbage can, because they don't understand. They just listen to what somebody else says. You don't have the brain capacity to even understand what these motherfuckers are involved in and what's happening. You just do what they tell you to do, psychology, but when you're fucking dead, just, yeah, listen to psychology, listen to fucking George Bush, listen to fucking Jerry. Do they tell you when you're fucking dead if God exists? Oh, but God exists for them though, motherfucker, huh? So, like I said, these are some of the most disgusting, you know, they know how to run their politics, because they were like movie stars. They were going and Hollywood movie stars. I mean, that's America's team. That's the entire sport. Anyway, so I thought I'd, you know, make a video on this, but because they have not only that level of power, but it is, the guy's a billionaire. He struck oil and he got like 20. The Dallas Cowboys, I think, were worth $15 to $20 billion alone. The entire Dallas Cowboys were worth $15 to $20 billion. What everything that comes out of their mouth is only to go against me and not for me, but manipulate me and help for Ken Cooper and Sarah and Kenneth, and then help the white race and whatever other ones they want to help, because they already know I've already been scummed and they're happy for that. Remember how you talked about our faggots? No, our faggots run everything here. We'll show you how the straights do it. You see, we're straight now. Oh, is that straight enough for you? You'll never know about what these motherfuckers are involved in. You know, these homosexuals are hitting deeply in the closet. They're full-blown fucking gay. You know, they'll kiss a girl in public, take pictures, you know, make fake kids. You hear George Bush, those are the worthless, those are some disgusting motherfuckers. They don't, you know, they're crazy. They don't give a fuck about life. This is for their own country and their own cause. They'll just never tell you that. They'll tell you everything they want to think to feel comfortable around. That bullshit. That's a lie. And they're only going to beat me to make me think otherwise.